There's league rules and there's my rules.
So I was just going to ask your rules.
They ain't going anywhere. We're going the same as last year.
Yeah, I was going to say, so for the vaccinated players, are you kind of...
I don't give a crap if they're vaccinated or not. They ain't going anywhere.
So earlier today, the NFL issued $14,650 fines to some 25 players for failing to wear their masks or tracking devices, violations of COVID-19 protocols. So first, Isaiah McKenzie, he tweeted, "They got me. You win, NFL." And then Cole Beasley, of course, chimed in. Those players have been in close contact with each other, those 25 players that fail to wear their mask or their tracking devices, used to determine which players have been in close contact. They've also given 120 players warnings that they were observed in violation of the league's COVID-19 rules and are subject to fines in the future. Players can face increasing discipline for repeat violations, including a 4-game unpaid suspension. So here's where it got really interesting. All right, Cole Beasley says, "I wore a mask that whole day but got fined because I didn't have it in from entry door to the locker room, which is literally 5 steps." And his reply to Isaiah McKenzie, whose email that he posted from the NFL, I'm going to read that in full later.
Yeah.
But Cole Beasley said, "Don't worry, they got me too. But I was wearing a mask when I was in close contact with a fully vaxxed trainer who tested positive and still got sent home. So what's the point of the mask anyways? Meanwhile, I'm still here tested negative and can't come back. Make it make sense." Cole Beasley is the walking, talking, tweeting epitome of the facepalm emoji.
I know. Well, yeah. That's why I just did it. That's why I just did it. Look.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
I want to get into that email, but go ahead, Mike. No, you go ahead. No, because the email's long. Go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
This is very simple. This is what's so frustrating to me, and I told you I've gotten over the frustration of people who will throw around misinformation, disinformation, whatever you want to call it, about the vaccine, and who refuse to get it. Okay, I'm over that. It just let me know. Like if we are in business with one another, or if some reason we're going out to dinner together, or we're going to be hanging out side by side, because I don't play in the NFL, just let me know, then I'll make my own decision. But you go ahead and do your thing. I am over the finger wagging. I've taken a leave this semester from teaching, so I am not giving a lecture series for the rest of the fall. But what I can't stand is people like Cole Beasley, okay, who is a talented professional football player who acts like he's a scientist. Okay, Cole, you've got people who will answer those questions. You ain't got to go on Twitter and you ain't got to crowdsource here. NFL teams have sent people to every facility several times, some teams multiple times. Some teams have doctors on site who will answer your questions. Cole Beasley acts like there aren't people who can answer his questions. And I get the feeling, I don't know.
But go ahead. I'm going to talk to that very point in a minute, but go ahead.
I don't know, Cole. I don't know you. Mm-hmm. But just the way you come off on social media, you seem to be the kind of person who has information available to you, but you won't listen to what they have to say. They'll answer those questions. Yeah. Like there's somebody who can answer that question you put out there on Twitter and answer it scientifically, medically sound, and you could go to bed and you can rest easily. But I get the feeling you don't want to hear it. He has
that
been
wasn't even
on
a
this
scientific
campaign.
question. That wasn't even a scientific point he made, though. Like, don't give him too much credit. He said, "I was around somebody who is fully vaxxed and tested positive and was sent home. What's the purpose of the mask?" Hey, dumbass! You were around somebody who had COVID. Like the mask has been scientifically proven to help mitigate the spread of COVID, and the vaccine
and he said, "Here I am
will
tested
mitigate
negative.
The effects of COVID." Yeah, you're tested negative for now, but wait. I said he was a walking, talking, tweeting facepalm emoji. He's also Champ Kind from Anchorman, Remember when Ron Burgundy was like, hey, champ, I think you just need to sit the next couple of plays out? Like, he needs to sit the next couple of plays out. Because I keep saying, I don't understand how people who put their bodies on the line, okay, this is where, again, religion and politics come in, how people who put their bodies on the line and stress availability for a living, okay, toughest people walking the planet, for crying out loud, are reluctant to take medication, a vaccine, when they've spent most of their lives injecting who knows what in their bodies so they can play, take a vaccine so they can be available for their teammates. Blows my mind, right? Blows my mind, that dichotomy. But more than that, forget about your opinion about vaccines, all right? Forget about, what Cole Beasley thinks. Forget about his personal freedoms that are being imposed upon and my body, my choice. Okay, forget about all of that. At a certain point, you're just being dumb. And I don't know what Cole Beasley makes, but I know that, as Stephon Diggs tweeted, $15,000 is a lot of money. Stephon Diggs makes a lot of money. You know who doesn't make a lot of money, relatively speaking, is Isaiah McKenzie. Let me go back to this email, okay? And I'm going to take my time reading this because, see, people already dug in on their stances, okay, especially on Twitter. They're dug in on their positions on this thing. And they see the news, and they're like, damn it! This just confirms what this is about punishment. This is not about protection. This is about control. They just want to force the vaccine down your throat. Okay, all right.
Boy.
Nonetheless, this is where common sense comes in. This is what it is. Dear Isaiah, okay, bear with me, Michael. On August 25th, 2021, at approximately 2:15 p.m., while walking through the indoor field house and into the training room, you failed to wear a mask. Then at approximately 4:35 p.m. on August 25th, for several minutes, you again failed to wear a mask in the meeting area of the weight room while gathered near other players after the offensive meeting. They got tracking devices, they got cameras, they see everything, okay?
Right.
Here's where it gets really good. Your refusal to wear a mask occurred after you were informed that it was required for unvaccinated players as set forth in your 2021 club discipline schedule and as reiterated by signage throughout the club facility stating that unvaccinated players may be subject to fines, discipline for failing to wear a mask. Your refusal to wear a mask also occurred shortly after league staff gave a presentation on August 25th regarding the NFLPA COVID-19 protocols, including the mask wearing requirement and that unvaccinated players are subject to fines or discipline for refusal to wear a mask. In addition,
make it make sense.
By letter dated July 27, 2021, you received a written warning for refusing to wear a mask and were specifically advised that future violations of the protocol will result in increased discipline, including for conduct detrimental. Still, as noted above, you again refused to wear a mask at the club facility. So you just want to give your money away, Michael? Once upon a time, I think we were talking about Kyrie Irving, and I remember how frustrated you were at Kyrie Irving.
Yeah.
Regardless of how much other money he has, forfeiting money for not
just give it away.
Dealing with the media as set forth by the NBA. This is not about the vaccine at this point, because if you're taking COVID seriously, see, I'm vaccinated and I still mask up when I go, because I know it doesn't prevent you from catching or transmitting COVID.
That's right.
So
absolutely,
this is not about, I don't want the vaccine. This is about, I just don't care about COVID. Because if you're not going to be vaccinated, the least you could do, both for the sake of your teammates and for your own pocket, Isaiah McKenzie, is to wear a mask. So this is, you just don't care. So just tell me you don't care about COVID without telling me you don't care about COVID. Like, it's not, whether it's the actual disease or how it can wreck your entire organization. Look at the Tennessee Titans right now, what they're dealing with. Sean McDermott even said today, he literally said he is frustrated by the low vaccination rate. It's tough, it's frustrating, it's challenging, however you want to say it, but I can't make the decision for them. These people give life and limb and will give anything to win a Super Bowl. You have Josh Allen at quarterback. He's a whole nother conversation. But nonetheless, you have a window of opportunity, a finite window of opportunity to play this game and succeed at this game. This is what Michael Irvin was talking about. And you don't want to, not only will you not take a vaccine, but you won't wear a mask after
Right,
you've
right,
been
right.
warned, and there's been a presentation the same
told you. That's what I
day
told you.
about what's required
That's what I'm
of
talking
you.
about. That's what I'm
Oh
talking
my
about
God.
with Cole Beasley. That's what I'm talking about with Cole Beasley. And see, Mike, it's not even COVID. I just want to make it clear. Like, this is where I really struggle. Man, I'm serious, man. I'm not even joking, man. I pray on this kind of stuff because this is a real problem for me. And I need to become more flexible, and I need to be more loving, honestly, when dealing with this type of personality. This personality type that drives me crazy. And I'm better than I used to be on it. I'm not where I need to be, okay? I'm in progress. This program is in progress. So here's the personality type I'm talking about. Mike, you live in Connecticut. How long have you lived in Connecticut? Roughly.
2008. So what is that?
Okay, so
13
you lived
years,
in Connecticut about 13 years. You lived in Connecticut for 13
Yeah.
years. It's this kind of personality type. So I ask you, hey, Michael Smith, I've been tweeting about this. I'm like, hey, what the hell? What the hell is it like to live in Connecticut? I always tweet about it. Then I ask you, what is it? I've never lived there. I ask you what it's like to live in Connecticut because you've lived there for 13 years. You tell me all about it. And then I go out and tweet, make it make sense to me. What's it like to live in Connecticut? That's not what it's like. Wait a minute. I done told you, dog. I've told you. I'm an expert on this. I've had doctors come in and tell you. I've had people who've experienced it. I've given you scientific evidence. I've given you anecdotal evidence. I've showed you pictures, and you still don't get it because you don't want to, because you've got an argumentative personality even when you are presented with the truth, undisputed, unfiltered truth, and you won't accept it. That's who Cole Beasley is. That's how he's acting with COVID. I don't know if he's like that in other aspects of his life, but that's exactly what he's doing. Every NFL team has had something that people that you know would love to have. That is access to professionals, to experts who have devoted their lives to medicine, who can tell you what's happening. They can break down what COVID-19 is. They can break down what the Delta variant is. They can tell you all of these things.
Mike,
and yet these guys don't listen.
When we tell them how to play football, what do we get told? You ain't never played.
You never played again.
You don't know what you're talking
Right.
about. You're an expert. You don't know what you're talking about. Look, man.
But we're not. But we're not experts. But we're not. And so, great, that's fair. You're being told by us about football, something that you know we don't know. But you're ranting about a virus that you don't know.
About science.
And you're asking the experts to explain it. They explain it, and you still don't believe them. Look, and remember that, I can't remember, it was a Chappelle bit on the Chappelle Show. And you'll remember because you got all the episodes committed to memory. Where was the one that's like, hey, man, you know the ingredients of ice cream? What's the capital of Oregon? I bet you don't know all that. You remember that whole episode, that whole riff about things that you don't know? Well, the point is, we spend so much time talking about, hey, the vaccine is this, the vaccine is that. But the same people who do that, some of them will go and take Tylenol, they'll take Advil, they'll take Maalox, they'll take Rolaids, they'll do all this stuff. You don't know about it. You don't know what's in it. But there's something that could potentially save your life.
Chris Rock he said that same thing. He was like, I don't know what's in Tylenol. I got a headache, I take it. He's like, I don't know what's in a Big Mac. I just know it's delicious. You know what I mean? So, look, man, I mean, and just to continue to wrap this up, Sean McDermott, there's people's livelihoods at stake in terms of people's jobs. Being able to count on people is important. So when you're going through a week, if this were a real week, and having the players out that we've had, that makes it harder to win games that way. Again, we didn't even get into we kind of did, but we didn't get into so much the unvaccinated status of Cam Newton in our conversation about him this week. We talked more about what it meant for the job as it relates to Mac Jones.
Right.
But, again, Cam Newton and not understanding the protocols, that was avoidable. At least it's being characterized as a misunderstanding, even if it's one he should not have misunderstood. This is blatant defiance. And look, I'm better than that. I called Cole Beasley a name earlier. What was unnecessary, and there's no excuse for it. But that's just how you talk about trying to get better with understanding these people as their personal freedoms impose on the rest of our lives. That's just how frustrated I am. So again, apologies to Cole Beasley, but this is just so frustrating that somebody would say, "What's the point of masks?" At this point in this pandemic, to ask, "What's the point of masks?"
Come on. Ask the doctor that.
Yeah.
Ask the doctor. Ask the Buffalo Bills can have that answer. Can have that answer to you, spoken and written. And probably in a great presentation. If you ask right now, Buffalo's on the East Coast, 4:50 on the East Coast, you could have it by 6 p.m. I mean, come on.
Hey,
the answers are there. He doesn't like the answers, but they're there.
No. Well, and neither one of them seem to be taking it seriously enough, at least the way it seems on the surface. So, hey, we'll take one more break, but not now, because I know Arians, you said to me when Arians was talking that it reminded you of another point you wanted to make.
Arians, the quarterback whisperer, yeah.
Okay.
You want me to go there now, or you want to take a break and then we'll talk about it?
Yeah, you can go there now, and we'll take the break after. We'll take the break afterward.
I want to point out that it's just Teddy Bridgewater, the Teddy Bridgewater Drew Lock competition hit you in one way based on the way Drew Lock responded, and I agree with you in a very admirable way. And it just stood out to me that Teddy Bridgewater named starting quarterback of the Denver Broncos. This is I don't know if you realize, this is the fifth team that Teddy Bridgewater has been on in his 7-year career. Right. And a black quarterback starting for a team is not a story in 2021. And it's amazing to me the path that we've taken to get here and how quickly this happened. Now, for a lot of people, it felt like a long time. It wasn't quick at all. This is a long, painful road for those who were playing quarterback in the pros, limited amounts in the pros and in college football in the 1960s and 1970s. Okay, just think about this, Mike. Just think about this. In the 1980s, do you know how many black quarterbacks were taken in the first round? In the 1980s.
The entire decade? No, off the top of my head, no.
0.
Yeah.
0. There was not a single black quarterback draft. You're in 2021. That doesn't even compute for you. You can't even reconcile that. What? So forget about number 1 overall, Kyler Murray. Forget about, this might be a stretch in the first round, E.J. Manuel at number 16. Forget about last pick of the first round, Lamar Jackson. In the 1980s, the entire 1980s, no black quarterbacks were drafted in the first round. The year of the quarterback, 1983, Dan Marino, Jim Kelly, all the Hall of Famers, right? Ain't no black quarterbacks taken. In 1991, I believe there were 2 starting black quarterbacks, 1 in each conference, Warren Moon and Randall Cunningham, off the top of my head. 2 in 1991. Now think about where we are now, Mike. Teddy Bridgewater in Denver.
It's not even a thought.
I mean, Patrick Mahomes. We're talking about Cam Newton. All these, it's just amazing how it's happened. And so I just want to point out, sometimes when we, and I think whether we're talking about quarterbacks or we're talking about any kind of other issue of injustice or being underrepresented, overlooked, sometimes those of us who are here, we're in the moment and we're saying, what is this all worth? Sometimes you don't see it in your prime, or sometimes you don't even see it in your lifetime. It may take some time. It may take some sacrifices on your part to open the doors for other people. So you look at guys like Warren Moon, who had to go to Canada, who was a great college quarterback, and it was totally ignored. You look at, and we just showed Lamar Jackson. Fortunately, you had a great franchise like the Baltimore Ravens who said, no, I know he's a so-called running quarterback. I know that a Hall of Fame general manager said he should play wide receiver, but we're going to draft him in the first round. We're going to play him at quarterback, and we're going to allow him to use his unique skill sets. Even though we haven't seen it before in this league, we're going to allow him to use his unique skill sets and play the position the way he wants to play it. I just think it's an interesting point that we're at, and it kind of happened to the point we're not even talking about. It's not even a conversation anymore, and it happened quickly.
Well, it hasn't. I mean, honestly, it hasn't been a conversation for several years now. It's been the norm. It's been normalized, as they say, for several years. Black quarterbacks in the NFL. There are still every now and then some tropes, some double standards that creep up. But for the most part,
right?
It's an afterthought. On the flip side, I hope that one day somebody, hopefully not too far from now, is sitting on a program like this as we go to break, sitting on a program like this and giving a impromptu history lesson about the history of head coaches. Because it's like they say quarterback's an extension of the head coach, right? But like if you try to reverse that, reverse it, it's like there's still a glass ceiling when it comes to the head coach and above position. Head coach, general manager, obviously ownership is the frontier that black people haven't been able to touch in the NFL in particular. So just hopefully we can look back at 2021 and look at it, whether as Byron Leftwich, Eric Bieniemy, or anybody else who's been waiting for an opportunity where it seems like they're overdue for it, can look back and say that was part of the struggle. Lasted a little longer than we thought it should or would, but maybe one day we get to a point where black coaches goes the way of black quarterbacks, which is just pretty much just quarterbacks. Hopefully that day is on the corner.
Just quarterbacks.